Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sew in Common. So glad you all could join me. Last week, I told you that I would do a quick video on how to edit your machine embroidery designs in software so that you can take parts of or all of a design and make it to fit your largest hoop. And we're going to do that with this design. It's a free design over on my website. This is last week's video, was how to do this towel with the Autumn Beauty words and applique. And so if you haven't gotten your video or your design yet, you can see my website address here on the bottom of the screen. You can go ahead and go over. It's a free download. And last week's video will show you how to create the project. This video is going to show you how to edit it. And by editing, basically what I'm going to discuss is size, because this original design, I did in an 8x8 hoop. I think you could do it in a 7x12 hoop with no problem. But I know a lot of you have 5x7 and 4x4 hoops, and you want to be able to make it, but you can't make something that is this big. So I'm going to show you really how quick and easy it is to edit a design to make it fit that hoop. Now, I will tell you right off the bat that I'm going to be using Dime's Tool Shed. It is a free editing software that you can download. And I've just put across the bottom of the screen the web address if you wish to go and download it. However, if you have an editing software that came with your embroidery machine, or that the manufacturer of your embroidery machine uses, that is free to you and available to you, then by all means use it. So I'm going to be using a specific software. Like I said, it's a free download. It's really intuitive and easy to use. So if you don't have one, I've been using this for a few years now, and it's super, I found it the easiest. I had been using one by one of the major manufacturers and one by the manufacturer of my machine, which is another major manufacturer, but I didn't find them quite as easy to work around and work through as I do this one that I'm going to use today. So whatever software you use is completely your choice. But I want you to remember that the way the screen looks on mine may look a little different on yours if you're not using this software, but you'll be looking for the same kinds of things. And you may already know your software well enough to know, oh, I know I need to go click this button if I want to find out what size my project is or something like that. Okay. So let's go ahead. So you're going to download this design. This is the one I'm going to show you. And because it's a free download, you can go download. And even if you don't ever stitch it out, you can play with it to try and figure out your sizing and your editing. Okay. So we're going to share my screen with you. Oh, hang on. Wait, let me cancel that for just a second. Give me just 1 minute. Just 1 second. There we go. I had to get my screen up so that it would share it. I'd accidentally closed it before. All right, no problems. Here we go. All right. So I am going to bring up, let me close this. There we go. Okay. So I've brought up my editing software. This is the Dime Embroidery Tool Shed. Like I explained, it's a free download. This is the base. Now, I have a lot of their software, but right now I only have it turned on so that the tool shed itself is what you're seeing. So I'm not using, if you're going to use this software, you're going to be able to do these things. I'm not using any other buttons or tools other than what you would have available in the free software, right? I figure that's fair if that's what I'm going to show you, right? Okay, so I've got it open and I want to open up my embroidery design. So at this point, you will have downloaded your embroidery design onto your computer or your laptop. And now I'm going to open it, and I go over to File and hit Open, and I go to the folder that has my design in it, and I click Open, and there we go. There's our Autumn Beauty design. So it's in this, if I go up or down here, I can make it fit the screen easier to look at, that sort of thing. So we'll just keep it right about there. So all I need to do to size this is highlight the whole thing. So to highlight this, I just click down on the right mouse key and drag a box around the entire design. And then you can see a box shows up and it has all these little nodes on it. And there's my design all highlighted in blue. Okay, so now when I go over here, I'm circling this a little bit so that you see it, because my mouse isn't a different color, so it might be a little difficult. So this arrow right here and right here take me to the different things, some of the different things I can do. So I'm coming over and I'm looking for this purple box. And when I click it, it brings up this information. Now, if you're not using this software, you will need to know, and it might be here in your editing. You'll have a button like this, I'm sure, that says Edit, or maybe something that says Tools, something like that in your editing software that is going to show you, when you click it, what your width and height of the design is. And by that, that's everything within this box that I've created here. That's the entire design. So when I look at this, and we know it is the entire design at full size, because right here it's telling me that it's at 100%. So what this is telling me is my design is just shy of 6 inches wide and about 5 3/4 inches high. And I have the ability here in this little button to click it or unclick it. And with it clicked, it maintains the aspect ratio. What does that mean? That means that when I change this number, notice it changed the bottom number. So it keeps everything put together with the same balance, can you say, or perspective of the original design. It's just making it bigger or smaller. So I'm going to come over here. I did not apply, so that won't be a problem. I believe this was 594. Yeah, there we go. So whenever I change something here, then I hit the apply button and it will recalculate my stitches and create my new size. So right now, with the design in this size, you really can't quite get it into a 6x10 hoop, or I can't. And my 6x10 hoops are Baby Lock Brother hoops, and it won't quite fit in a 6x10. Now, if you have a 6x10, you could try it, because it might give you, your 6x10 hoop from another manufacturer may give you a little bit extra space on the sides, because it's my width that's going to cause a problem for my 6x10 hoop. Okay, but a 7x12 hoop, which is like the next size up from a 6x10, it will easily fit into a 7x12, because I like to do things in square hoops when I'm doing square designs. I actually made my original one in an 8x8 hoop, but you can see the design itself is not that big. So how do we get this into, let's say, a 5x7 hoop? So if we know that the width is 5 inches, we want to go less than that, right? So let's say we take it down to 4.75. That's definitely within the size for our width, and the aspect ratio is definitely fine, because we had up to almost 10 inches for our height. And then if we apply, it would change our whole design. Let's apply. There it goes. Now it has changed. Now up here on my toolbar, I have this arrow, this back arrow. And if I hit it, it goes back, and see, it has brought my design back to its original size. Okay. So if you're playing around and you don't like what you do, you can always hit your back arrow and it'll take you right back to that original size or to the last window. And if I go back one more, it takes me back to my very first window. Okay. It didn't change, it was the same, but that's what it does. Now all my arrows are going in this direction. And if I go there, oh, there it takes me to the one that will fit my 5x7 frame. Okay, so I don't want a 5x7 frame. I only have a 4x4 frame. Okay, that's not a problem either. So let's go and make this. Now, I'm going to show you two ways you can do this. We're typing in our numbers here because I figure if I know my width and height, I can just type it in quick and be done. So with a 4x4 frame, I want to go to, we're going to say 385 for our width, and that will adjust our height automatically. And I'm going to hit apply, and there we go. Now, what this has done is it has not only made the design smaller, but it has recalculated all of the stitches. Now, I want to give you a little tip here. For this design, putting it into a 4x4 hoop is really not a problem because this is applique. Your applique will just be a little bit smaller and your letters will just be a little bit smaller. It's not a real intricate design. But if I had a really intricate design where I could end up with having a lot of overlap in my stitches by making it smaller, then I probably wouldn't make it into a smaller design. Okay, so you have to kind of look at your design and be a judge. And in fact, if you're like, I can't judge that, I don't know enough to know whether or not that would be a good smaller design or not, go ahead and save it as a design and do a stitch out and see what you think. You might decide, yes, that looks fine for me. Or you might decide, no, that really doesn't work. I'm going to go back and make it bigger. Or maybe I can't use this design in that smaller hoop. So I want to go back, though, all the way to our original design. This is it here. And I'm going to click out here beyond the box, and it brings just the original design back to where we started when I first loaded it. Now, let's say that in a 4x4 size, you didn't want to use Autumn Beauty. You had other words or another design, something else you wanted to use. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. So remember, I originally right-clicked on my mouse out here and drag a box around the whole thing. There we go, just like we were. But what I want to do is I don't want Autumn Beauty. I want to work on just my applique leaves. So I do the same thing. I right click on my mouse. I draw a box around my leaves. And then it creates the box around it and it highlights it. And then I can go over to here or to wherever on your software where you can adjust size. It brings me back to here and it tells me that my width is 5, just a little over 5.5, about 5 2/3 of an inch by about just a little over 3 inches high. Now let's say that's all I want to use. Then I could up here make a copy and go over to File and say New, and then go over to Paste and click Paste. Ah, look, just my leaves. So now my original design, Autumn Beauty, it's still just fine. I haven't ruined it or done anything with it that would hurt it. But I created a second design by pulling those leaves out. Now I can play around with the leaves. I can leave them this size. Let's say I want to use these leaves for something else. You could do that. And then once again, you go over to here and it shows you what your size is. Okay, so you can do that with a design as well. You can pull part of it away, create a new page, resave it, and then you would have just your leaves here. So let's go back to Autumn Beauty. Let's highlight it again. Come back over here and let's put it into the size for our 4x4 hoop. Hit apply. Okay, so there I want the whole design, and there it is for my 4x4 hoop. Now we need to save it. So I want to go over to File up here in my left-hand corner, click on that, and hit Save As. I find whatever folder, so I have a design folder, but I would find whatever folder I want to save it into from my computer. So down here, I would click and I would find the version of, or the file format for my machine, which is Baby Lock Brother. It says Bernina, but I didn't know Bernina could use PES, to be quite honest. Perhaps some of their older or newer machines do as well. I don't know. Now, I could save it in one of these newer formats of PES, but I find that anything I save into the version 6 tends to work on just about every Baby Lock Brother machine. But when you go in here, you save it to whatever file format you need. And as you can see, Dime has graciously offered us all of the popular formats, and it even has formats for long arm quilting too. Now, I'm not quite sure which ones those happen to be on here. I'm guessing they're probably these, because I don't have a long arm or a long arm that I use that for at this time. Anyway, so I've chosen my type. I'm going to put up here, I'm going to highlight the name, I'm going to click over, and I'm going to say 4x4. That way, when I save this, I'll see Autumn Beauty, which is my original design. Then I'll see another file that says Autumn Beauty 4x4, and I'll know that is the version that fits in my 4x4 hoop. That's kind of how I work with my file names, as I try to put the this hoop size on there. Now I'm just going to hit save, and it's going to save it. Now I'm going to bring up my filing cabinet on my computer, and I am going to bring up, there's my folder, there's my designs folder, here's my Autumn Beauty 4x4. I'm going to highlight that, and on a PC I'm going to hit Control C. It might be Command C or something like that on a Mac. Please don't hold me to that, because I'm not a Mac user. But I think they use a command key where PCs use a control key. But I've hit Control C. Now I can go back and find my USB stick that is located here. It's my USB drive E. Gosh, you can see. So you can see there's my original Autumn Beauty. You can see some of the other stuff I've been working on. Now I hit Control V, and look what pops up, Autumn Beauty 4x4. So now I can close this. It's on my stick. I just need to release my stick from my computer so that it doesn't get messed up, and it tells me that. And I pull it off, and then I'm going to stop sharing for the moment. There we go. And now it is on my USB stick. I plug my USB stick into my embroidery machine, and then I can put that design on a towel, on a tote, on little hand towels. Now, in that smaller size, it would be beautiful on small hand towels for a bathroom or a powder room. So you could do that as well. But that is how easy it is to resize and edit your sizes for your designs in your software. Now, like I said, if you don't use the software I showed you, that's fine, but you will need to know where to go to find what button allows you to edit that size. And like I said, it's probably up either in an edit or a tools button. There will be something on your editing software to allow you to do that. Sometimes it even shows it to you on the screen and you can click right on it. I know there are some like that as well. And I apologize that I can't help you with other brands because I really don't. The two that I used to use, I don't actually, there was 3 that I used to use that I don't use anymore. And I can't honestly remember what they look like. So that's all it takes to edit your design. So it's just simple few steps, and then you can put it in your machine and you can go and make your project. So if you enjoyed this, or if you enjoy any of my other videos, please subscribe to my channel. I am so close to 3,000 followers. I mean, like literally, like just pop across the line. Please subscribe. I would love it to reach that 3,000 mark. And click on the little bell next to the subscribe so you can get notifications when I add new content to the channel. I appreciate that so much. And until next time, like I always say, go sew life beautiful. I know you can. Bye, everybody.